So here we go. The first clause is our Father. Tells us who God is, and also about the relationship that we would have with God and with each other. Second clause, which art in heaven, tells us more about God and who we are. And the third clause, hallowed be thy name, tells us still more about God and us and how the universe works. So the first three clauses can be seen as a group, and it's all about definition. It's all about definition. Okay. Fourth clause, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. How we are to do all work here on earth. That's the fourth clause. 5, give us this day our daily bread. Country? Give us this day our daily bread. What our true nourishment is and how to attain it. So clauses 4 and 5 are a group, and they can be seen as instruction, right? See how we're echoing the words of Emmett here. The involvement of the soul. 6th clause, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. This is all about how to get rid of the blocks that we will certainly encounter. We all do, or not, you can say affirmations until you beat the band, but we will all have roadblocks of one type or another on our path. Some big, some not so big, but we'll all have them. So this is all about dealing with those through the wonderful power of forgiveness, and I know this particular congregation has done a lot of work, radical forgiveness and other programs of which I'm aware, and probably those I'm not. So this one's all about roadblock removal. 7th and final clause, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. This is divine correction, how to get back on track once we stray. So 6 and 7, you might be getting the theme, can be coupled up together, and it's all about correction. So how perfect. We get 1, 2, and 3, define the thing. 4 and 5 is instruct us, right? We get our instructions. How does it work? Tell me about it. And 6 and 7 is all about correction. When I stumble and fall, how do I get back on my path? Clause 1, our Father. These 2 words give us insight into the nature of the relationship that we could expect to have with God. It also gives us insight into who and what God is. We relate to God, the divine, as we would a highly evolved parent. And how does a highly evolved parent relate to us, or how would we relate to them? What are the qualities? Love. Love is the first one on my list, too. What else? What else do you think? How does a highly evolved parent, you've known some, you've had some, bless you.
Patience.
Patience.
Respect,
absolutely.
acceptance,
unconditional love, we said all of those. Protective, wanting the best for us, comforting, inspiring, respectful, dependable, would be seen as our ultimate authority. All things good, as we say here, right here in this church, God the good, omnipotent. And it goes without saying that if we are divine offspring of this God, that we would inherit these very same qualities, right? So now we start to get insight to the nature of who we are, all from 2 words. See, all from 2 words when we start to dissect them. In using the word our in front of Father, now we start to get another bit of focus. It's not just my Father, it's our Father. It's not just about me, but it's about all of us. See, I receive no favor or grace that's not accessible to you. So be careful when you go to work tomorrow. And Charlie Chuckle Cube over there is making you mad. He is a child of God. It's his Father too. Right? Yeah. So as we put the first 3 clauses together, it really starts to paint a picture for us of our key relationships. And what are they? Us to God, us to ourselves, and us to each other. So who's left out?
No one.
No one. No one. You get a CD. Bless you. Bless you. Jensen mentioned my CDs. I have the latest ones. So For anybody who cares to participate in this talk today, free stuff. And even though we are highly evolved beings, we still love free stuff. Here's another question for you. And those who heard me speak at URL a couple of weeks ago, quiet now, quiet. The word Father. How many times do you suppose, or maybe you know, how many times is the word Father stated in the book of Matthew alone? Now listen, don't let me report back to Reverend BJ, that those of you who've been taking all these Bible classes.
Don't know this.
Yeah. This is arbitrary, but do you know? Or would you care to venture a gift? Free stuff. Free stuff. 40. 40? What are the guesses? Come on. How many?
70.
70.
50.
50.
65.
Oh, Going once. Going twice.
Who said 70? You said 70? You said 70. You are the closest, but I'm afraid we're shy of it. Give the man a CD.
Oh.
The word Father is actually stated in the book of Matthew alone 1,088 times.
Oh my God.
1,088 times. So do you think that Father has some significance?
I guess so. Yes, I guess so.
Yeah. So we can see the Father was a key concept in Jesus' teachings, but our job, much more importantly, is to make this our own. Right? We have to make this relevant to ourselves. Otherwise, guys, these are just familiar words on a page. It might as well be a nursery rhyme. Enough with the information. Enough with the learning. What are we going to do to implement this? We all have enough books. If we brought them all in here, we'd have quite the barn fire. Now, what are we going to use? How are we going to use these things to make ourselves better? This is the important stuff. I encourage you and support you in dissecting this, right? Any part of the Sermon on the Mount or any other spiritual thought. It doesn't even have to be the Bible. It could be anything that touches you. How are you going to use it to your own self-betterment to serve others? That's the key here. So, let's answer our question. How can clause 1, our Father, help me right here, right now? In the midst of life's ups and downs, the goods and the bads. This reminds us to pause and remember who God is, who we are to God, who we are to each other. God is always present. And we forget this in the midst. I fell, right? I fell, some of you may have heard, I fell on Wednesday afternoon, and I hit my head, and they took me in the seat collar, and the blood was everywhere. Do you think my first thought in the midst of all that, fear and terror, is, God is my supply. God, you are right here. You know what's interesting is, moons ago, it wouldn't have even come on the radar because I would have been so concerned with the physical, you see? But as I sat there, and all I could do was look up, because you know when you have the collar on, had to go to the bathroom, they don't let you. All I could do was chips in the ceiling, and I could hear. But what I started to do is I just started to think about God. Think about God. And that starts to relieve something. Look, we're going through the physical. There is a relative reality to that. We are going through it. It's real as far as that goes. You can't excuse it. We would be certifiable. I was in that ER. I was going through. But I could decide if I wanted to focus on the pain. I could decide if I wanted to focus on God. Even if at this very moment you find yourself without any earthly prospects, you have an internal well of unlimited potential. Right here, right now. All is well. I really don't care what it looks like. I was on that gurney for hours, Jen will tell you. All is well. It's simply part of our divine inheritance.